Well, if you've driven by SCC anytime recently, you've noticed the bridge. It's kind of a bridge to nowhere right now, but we've got Ryan Overton with us here from WSDOT. So just to start, lane level, visualize it for us. Where does this go from here?
So you'll notice as you look kind of to the north, it does kind of, the apex is in a downward concave motion, and then it starts to work its way back up.
Okay.
So as we come across Mission Avenue, we've got Freya, Green Street right here. We're actually going over the top of it. So it's going to continue straight on its path to I-90 before it fans out in what we call our trumpet at the I-90 connection. So we're going to go over the top, roughly 50 to 55 feet in the air at its peak before it slowly starts to come back down and connect with I-90. The businesses have already been purchased. We've gone through that process already. So everything is actually done at this point. So now it's getting it to a point where we go to advertisement on the projects and then start construction. So you're going to see a lot of movement here in like the next 6 months or so.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to ask. We're kind of at the end of construction season here. I feel like we typically see that pause in construction around winter, right? What are we doing in between now and next spring to keep things rolling?
So the Spokane River Crossing, we've got about 3 to 5 months left on that project alone. So that'll start to slowly wrap up. Things are going to come to a close on that project. Where we are from Mission South to Alki, that is what we call our Stage 2 project. So the SCC is Stage 1, the next one to our south, Stage 2. That goes to add here in about the next month and a half, and we'll break ground and start working our way towards Trent in the spring of 2026. And then our Stage 3 project, which is from Alki to Sprague Avenue, actually broke ground about a month ago. And so we are working our way upwards at this point with the pillars and piers and columns for the bridges. They've got the rebar shafts that are going into the ground. They're starting the drilling and pouring concrete as we speak. So that project underway, but once again, SEC very visual to the public. Green, Mission Avenue, both thoroughfares in the city of Spokane. Our Stage 3 project kind of more out of sight, out of mind. So people aren't seeing that construction work, but we are working our way up on that as well. So
exciting.
More projects underway, and that will continue through the winter. With concrete, we don't have to stop.
So over the years, we've seen the freeway open in sections.
Yep.
Do we get another section before the full thing, or are we here to the end?
We will get another section. So in 2028, our Stage 2 project, which will be just to our south here, will open to Trent Avenue. So you'll be able to drive from Wellesley south to Trent. You'll have an off-ramp southbound and then a northbound on-ramp.
Back to the visualization of where this goes. Does it stay up above road level until it hits I-90?
Yeah, we're going to be elevated freeway all the way until the ramps come down east and west on I-90. So just like downtown Spokane, the viaduct section, this will be an elevated freeway until we connect to I-90, yes.
And then I know some of the communities, the East Central community in particular, was very involved with that decision as to what that looks like, that I-90 interchange. For those of us who don't know, what did we decide on for that to look like?
We had two different alternatives. There was an alternative 1, alternative 2. Alternative 1 was the community preference with almost 70% of the response. And it was a slightly smaller footprint, great connectivity within and around the East Central neighborhood. The only ramp that is going to be removed was an eastbound I-90 on-ramp from Altamont Street. So Freya, Thor, Havana, those get realigned. You'll still be able to get off going eastbound at Altamont, but you just won't be able to go back on. So they'll travel down just a little bit further to the Freya Thor on-ramp, which will be much further extended, easier merge, much safer than it was before. So that'll be exciting when we get to that point to be able to bring that to community. I-90 will flow better. We're reducing a lot of the weaving movements in and around the East Central neighborhood with I-90, but a smaller footprint for the project as a whole in that area.
And the question we all want to know, do we have a timeline?
Yeah, so we are early 2030s is what we're saying right now. We are going to add on our next project, which is the Stage 2 here in the next couple months. And then from there, the I-90 connection projects are all that we have left. And we've got 3 of them. So we're going to stage them kind of outward in. Okay. So that way, when we get to the inward portion, which is the I-90 connection with the North Spokane corridor, the work on the outside to the city streets, The ramps is all completed ahead of time, so it'll be an easier time for the contractor than just to connect the North Spokane corridor, and all of that will kick off in 2027.
I have to ask, because this freeway's been the butt of many jokes with timeline-wise, how confident are we with that 2030 early area?
Yeah, early 2030s. So all of the funding by the legislature is spread out bienniums, and so the last expenditure for funding is the 29-31 biennium. So at that point, we have to be done with the project.
Gotcha. So it's like a hard and fast deadline here, which is great for commuters.
Yes,
Obviously.
we're very excited about it. It's a long time coming, and there's going to be a lot of a lot of work on the project in the next year or so. So it'll be very visual once again when we especially kick off the Stage 2 project, and then around I-90, maybe the last couple weeks, they've probably seen some large equipment that has been staged by I-90. We're doing core drilling, core sampling to figure out how deep we need to go with some of the bridge piers down into the bedrock. So that equipment has been out there. So there's been some movement already around I-90, some lane closures here and there to do some sampling. All of that goes back into our design work for the final project, which will then go to add in late 2026, early 2027.
Cool. Last thing, once it's actually finished, what happens with all of the land that WSDOT or the state has purchased over the years?
Yeah, so we have a lease lands program. So right now, none of that is up for leasing opportunities, but it'll go towards economic improvement or economic development, community improvements. And what that will look like is once the project is finished, we're going to go to community and see what they want for that land leasing opportunity. So that will come once the project is complete, but with project staging, material staging, contractors, all working within the same area. We can't release that yet to the public, but that will come after the project is completed.
Ultimately, though, the goal being that it comes back to the community.
Correct.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, and hopefully that gives everyone a little bit of a better idea in a succinct way of where this thing goes right here behind us.